Hi everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to solve an interesting exponential equation. Equation goes like this. We have 17 to the power of x minus 8 to the power of x. And that is equal to 225. This is an interesting equation to solve, and when you see an exponential equations, you probably first start thinking about logarithmic functions. However, it's not always the easiest way to solve, and sometimes, in fact, it's not possible to solve using logs. So, right, what do we do here is that we well, there are several ways of solving this. So the first method in mathematics, well, it's not a method, but the first way to solve this is to guess a solution. Yeah, and if you guess, which is not very difficult in this case, if you are familiar with Pythagorean triples, so if you choose x to be 2, that will solve the problem, because you have 17 squared, which is 289, minus 64. Now 289 minus 64 will give you exactly 225. Yeah, and it's quite easy to guess if you're familiar with Pythagorean triples, but and to help you guess, you could write it as 17 to the x minus 8 to the x is equal to 15 squared. And you recognize that 8, 15, and 17 are Pythagorean triples, right? So, but of course, it's not always very easy to guess. So, especially if you're not familiar with the Pythagorean triples, what do we do then is we find a method. Now, one way to solve this is, I'm sure there are several ways of solving this, but one way to solve it is you could rewrite the equation as 17 squared into 17x minus 2 minus 8 squared times 8 to the power of x minus 2. That's equal to 225. Yeah. So if you notice that if this is a squared, this is b squared, we have a squared minus b squared, which can be written as a minus b into a plus b. So in other words, if this is a squared, then a is equal to 17, taking the square root of 17 squared, times 17x minus 2 over 2. Because we're taking the square root, that means we're multiplying the power of 17 to the x minus 2 by a half, so that will give us a, and then b will be simply 8 into 8x to the power of x minus 2 over 2. So this is our a minus b now. And a plus b will be 17 times 17x minus 2 over 2 plus 8 times 8 to the power of x minus 2 over 2. And that's equal to 225. Yeah. But you can rewrite 225 as 17 minus 8 times 17 plus 8. I mean, this will always work for any Pythagorean triples. So in other words, if you're looking at 3, 4, 5 triangle, and if you have 5 to the x minus 4 to the x is equal to, or let's say 5 to the x, I mean, it doesn't matter, but 5 to the x minus 3 to the x is equal to 16, which is equal to 4 squared, you can always write 16 as 5 minus 3 and 5 plus 3. Obviously, from the fact that we're using c squared minus a squared is equal to b squared. So you can always write b squared as some difference of squares for any Pythagorean triple. So yeah, so this seems more this seems easier to solve now, because you have 17 there, minus 8 there, 17 there, minus 8 there. Similarly, we have 17 plus 8, 17 plus 8. So it's easier to compare the left-hand side with the right-hand side. So for this equality to hold, we require this and that, which are identical to this and that, to be 1. Because if these are 1, then you have 17 times 1, which is 17, minus 8 times 1, which is 8. So you get the first bracket and then the second bracket. So for 17 to the power of x minus 2 over 2 to be 1, as you know, we must have the power has to be 0. In other words, x minus 2 over 2 is 0 implies x is equal to 2, which agrees with the Pythagoras' method, right? Okay, right. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again in my future videos. Thank you so much for joining.